he took Yudhishthira to Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev had ruled or helped rule other kings. He was always there as a caretaker to help the king rule the kingdom of Hastinapura. So he had so much experience. So Krishna wanted the new king Yudhishthira of Hastinapur and the whole world at that point to learn from this great devotee and highly experienced person. So he brought Yudhishthira to Krishna, and he brought Yudhishthira to Bhishma, and then Bhishma was telling Yudhishthira how to be a good king. So many good points he was telling. And then Bhishma Dev also started explaining how Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and he is not a regular person like all of you. He's not just your cousin. He's not just your driver, Arjuna. This is actually the Supreme Lord who is present in everybody's heart and who created the entire universe. So if you think he's just an ordinary person, that's very foolish. So now last week we discussed how Mother Kunti was declaring Krishna as the Supreme Lord. Now Bhishma Dev is declaring. So that's in Srimad Bhagavatam we see many instances where all these devotees are revealing what they have realized in their life, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So it is driving in all of our minds that who is this God? Who is this personality? It is Krishna. So again, in this prayer, Bhishma Dev wonderfully explains about Krishna, and because Bhishma Dev is about to leave his body, and Bhishma Dev got a boon that he could leave his body anytime he wanted. Now, who gave that boon to Bhishma?
Shantanu?
Yes, very good. Radha Chaitraji is on a roll. Yes, you have good knowledge of Mahabharata, and because Shantanu was very happy with his son, because the son gave up all his enjoyment to have a family or be the king for his father. So the father gave him the boon that he will not die unless he himself wanted to. So actually, Bhishma Dev could have taken out all the arrows and healed everything, but he was happy that Yudhishthira, who is a very righteous person, was becoming the king. So he understood it is the right time to go. So these are the final few moments that he gave these good instructions, Yudhishthira, and he's explaining about Krishna being the personality of Godhead, and all the great rishis had all come for this moment to see Bhishma Dev leave his body. So, being such a great devotee, it's a great blessing that when you are about to leave your body, if all the great acharyas and sages, they all come to say bye to the soul when it is leaving the body, and even greater is God himself is right in front of him. So he's very blessed and very happy at this situation. So all the demigods and Lord Shiva, Narada, Kapila, everybody came, and they and Bhishma Dev was explaining to Yudhishthira and everybody that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And he says that it's equibalanced, or Krishna is not partial. Like just like the sunlight falls on entire earth, there's only the plants that makes use of the sunlight, or maybe the solar panels today. But there are other places that the sunlight is falling. But if there were plants there, it could use that sunlight. But others, maybe a piece of rock, or the same sunlight is falling on it, but they don't have the leaves to do that. So Krishna is giving his mercy, and Krishna loves everybody equally. But others are just not wanting that love of the Lord. So that's the reason we see the inequalities in the world, it is not because of Krishna, it's because of the person who's receiving that love, and they don't want it. They just want to enjoy themselves and not even have any gratitude to God. So Bhishma Dev explains this point that he's equipoise. He treats everybody the same. Okay. So he says Krishna appears in the mind of devotees by their devotion, because they are willing to take the step, like all of you want to hear about Krishna. So Krishna is present in your mind. So by having Krishna in your mind, by meditation, by mantra meditation, by chanting the holy names of the Lord, you can tap to his mercy. And what happens when you get that mercy of the Lord? You break free from this bondage of being happy or sad, and all that's happening in the material world won't affect you, because you are very focused on Krishna, and then you can go back home, back to Godhead when you leave your body. So Bhishma Dev likes to see the four-handed form of Krishna. So every devotee has a favorite. Like Arjuna doesn't like the forehand; he just like the two-handed Krishna as his friend. But Bhishma Dev wants to see Krishna in his four-handed form, which he has. What all does he carry? Shank is the conch shell. Chakra is the discus. Gadha is the mace, and Padma is the lotus. Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. So he likes the four-handed form. So Krishna manifests that form, because whatever form the devotee likes to see, Krishna will show that form. So you see here, Bhishma Dev is seeing the four-handed form of Krishna, and he's requesting Krishna, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you in this form when I leave the body." And sorry, Tarunji, do you have any comments? Okay. So Yudhishthira learns all the religious duties and everything from Bhishma Dev. He talks about the different stratas of society. What a king should do, practical activities, what charity, what duties the king should have towards women and devotees. All this was taught to Bhishma Dev. So then it was time for Bhishma to leave his body, and when the sun was moving towards the north, so he started his prayers. Then he fixed his gaze on Krishna, and he was praying to Krishna by looking at him, and he said such wonderful prayers, just like Kunti Devi. He has such wonderful prayers. His eyes opened wide, and he was seeing Krishna in his yellow garments, and all his Krishna's jewels were glittering in his eyes, and he was only looking at Krishna, and he's happy. All his material pains, you just imagine if one little needle pricks you, you are in so much pain. He has hundreds of arrows on himself, and all that pain went away when he was focusing on Krishna and ready to leave his body. So and all his material ties, oh, I have to do this job, that job, did I finish that, is my next generation going to do well? All those thoughts went away. Now he was just focusing on Krishna, and he said this nice prayers. So then he started describing Krishna's body as a bluish color of the Tamala tree, and his body attracts everyone in the three planetary system, and he has a yellow dress and a lotus face, and he's covered with sandalwood paste. So even on his on his deathbed, he's describing Krishna and glorifying Krishna. And he's remembering when Krishna took up that wheel and ran towards him. At that point, Krishna's face was all full of dust and smoke from the war, and there were beads of perspiration coming on from Krishna's face. And Bheeshma Dev is remembering that instant, and he's glorifying, and he's so happy that the Lord came to interact with him that way. So he's thinking about that. And then he remembers how Krishna gave Bhagavad Gita instructions to Arjuna in the battlefield. So at that point, Bhishma was the commander-in-chief of the Kauravas, and Bhishma Dev was remembering that. And then he's also remembering that Krishna made him keep his vow and broke Krishna's own, because Bhishma Dev said he's going to destroy everything unless Krishna takes up a weapon. So Krishna did that to protect his devotee and also protect Bhishma Dev's vow, so that Bhishma Dev don't have to destroy, because Krishna came, lifted up the weapon, so Bhishma Dev didn't do that. So he's praying to Krishna to take him to the ultimate destination, and he just wants to be focused on Krishna. He says these prayers, and he fixed his mind on Krishna, and he also said the love. Krishna attracts the gopis because their love is the topmost, and he remembers all that, and he's explaining about all that. And he mentioned how during the Rajasuya Yajna, Yudhishthira actually made Krishna the guest of honor. And that was the time then Shishupal didn't like it, and Bhishma Dev was in that assembly. So Bhishma Dev is remembering all the instances in his life. He was there for hundreds of years, but then he didn't think about any other thing, but he's thinking about all the instances in his life where Krishna was present. So he fully concentrated on Krishna, and then he's leaving his body, and his soul got out of his body and went to Krishna and back to Godhead. So everybody paid obeisances to this great devotee Bhishma, and his prayers are now captured in Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's what we wanted to discuss in this class. If there are no questions, then we can go to the Kahoot for today. Are there any questions? No? Okay, let me bring up the Kahoot then. Okay, so the game pin is still loading. So game pin is 6367350. Oh, it looks like only Radha Chaitraji is still on the call. Maybe Tarunji will also join. He's been coming in and out. Tarunji, are you playing Kahoot? Tarunji, are you there?
Prabhuji, can't hear you.
Oh, Radha Chaitraji, can you hear me? You can't hear me?
I can hear you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Tarunji, it looks like a
Prabhuji,
internet issue
there is
again.
some network issue.
Okay. Do you want to
Trying to-
join the Kahoot? Or can we start? Do you think you
No,
can?
Prabhuji, you can start.
Okay. You can watch then
Yes,
because of the
Prabhuji.
internet issues. Okay. So this we discussed passing of Bhishma Dev in the presence of Krishna is the chapter. Okay. Who was the priest of the Pandavas? So you can, if you remember from Mahabharata, we discussed this, but not in today's class. Yeah, the correct answer is Daumya Rishi, is the Pandavas priest. Okay, true or false? Bhishma was married. Good job, false. Okay. 966 points. Who was the mother of Bhishma? Ganga, very good. Okay, what is the special power of Bhishma that Bhishma possesses? He knew when he would die, he knew his past history, he could choose when to die. Very good, you got it right. What is the birth name of Bhishma? Devadatta, Devadas, Devang, Devavrata. Very good. Good job. You're on fire. What is Bhishma's promise to Satyavati's father? To never use weapons ever again, to never be king and never marry, to always be king and do the duties. Very good. That's the right answer. To leave Hastinapura and never return. Okay. Okay. Who gave Bhishma the boon to choose the time of his death? Ganga, Drona, Shantanu, Kripa. Shantanu. Very good. Second last question. Who did Bhishma meditate on at the time of his death? Arjuna, Krishna, Yudhishthira, Parashurama. Very good. Krishna. Okay. Why did Bhishma take vow to not marry and never become king? So that Shantanu could marry Ganga, so that Bhishma could concentrate on his fighting abilities, so that he could become Maharajan. Yes, so that Shantanu could marry Satyavati. Very good. So, oh, there's a third place. Oh, there's an imaginary third and second place, but first place goes to Radha Chaitraji, 7,304. That's a great score. Congratulations. And you answered most of the questions correctly and all the questions correctly. So, very good. Hare Krishna, Vancha Kalpata Rupascha, Kripa Sindhu Pevacha, Patitanam Pavanepyo, Vaishnavepyo, Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Have a nice Krishna conscious week, and we'll meet again next week. Hari Bol.